thank God enough for you, for all the joy that we feel before God because of you? In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Almost 6 years ago, when I moved here from Los Angeles, I drove across the country with my mom. It was April. We left the city and then we drove through the desert, and then the road out of the desert goes up and up and up until you're in the mountains and the terrain changes. And suddenly, for the first time in a long time, I saw that it was snowing. And I was so excited. After 6 years in Los Angeles, I didn't see snow not one time. But then it snowed a little more. It started to snow a little more. And my excitement turned to anxiety as I drove there, because I had driven in snow before, but here I was with all of my stuff in my car, plus my mom. And I knew from the map that we were on this plateau, and that the other end of the plateau, the road would go down back into a place where it surely was not snowing. But I didn't know how long that would take, and I didn't know when it would arrive. So there's this dilemma. Do you stop and wait something out, or do you push on, not knowing when it's going to end? And this is part of the season of Advent, isn't it? Advent is this 4 weeks prior to Christmas where we have the experience of knowing that God is coming, but not knowing when. And of knowing that Jesus is going to be born in about, 23 days, but not knowing exactly how we prepare for that. What do we do? How do we wait? Because one thing is sure, whether we like it or not, the day of the Lord is coming. Whether we like it or not, there are certain things that are inevitable. Whether we like it or not, the joy we have will one day disappear. And if we like it or not, the pain and the struggles that we're going through at this present second will one day get better. And if we like it or not, one day our death is coming to us. It's not in our hands. It's in the hands of God. So the question is, how do we wait? And today Jesus has a clear suggestion for the disciples and for all of us about how we wait for these things, for the coming of the Lord. Here in Luke chapter 21, he's talking about when the signs will appear, the destruction of the nations, that there will be people fainting in fear, that the powers of heaven will be shaken. But Jesus says, he says, as soon as these things start to happen, don't run away in fear. Don't flee. Instead, he says, look up. Raise your heads. That is to say, don't cower at the presence of God. Don't let the presence of God overwhelm you or debilitate you or destroy you, for the presence of God is not to be feared. The presence of God is just simply what is. And today Jesus talks about this fig tree and the season of figs, because he wants to remind us that sometimes just things are. Sometimes it's a season for figs, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're driving along snowy, dangerous roads in the mountains. Sometimes you're safe in your bed at home. And all of these things come from God. They're beyond our small circle of control that is out there. All of it's managed by God. And so what comes from fighting? What comes from struggling? What comes from complaining against God? Can we fight with the God who created the universe, who set the stars in their courses, who divided the day from the night, who separated the land and the sea? Can we fight with God? Can we go out to that fig tree in front of our December house and say, come on, I want figs. I'm making a figgy pudding. So Jesus says, instead of fighting, instead of being fearful, just marvel. Just lift your heads up and look at what God has done. Don't be weighed down. For the God who created you is actually pretty amazing. Yes, there's a lot not to marvel at, and there's a lot to complain about. But we forget that the same God who's given us these burdens has also given us such joy. It's part of the package. We're on this road of life. We didn't set ourselves on this road. We're not getting to the end by ourselves. All along the way, our attitude can be marvel and joy and wonder in God's works as we contemplate the amazing journey that God and I are traveling together. Advent teaches teaches us and it reinforces for us, we choose how we travel. We can choose how we wait. I went to the registry of motor vehicles, I don't know how many times before I realized I have to bring a book. Because I'm always going to wait. And I hate to wait. We choose how we respond to the fact that we are not in control. And how do we sense God? A lot of the way we wait depends on what we believe about God. Do we think that we have in our God a distant, angry, bitter old man who's up in the heavens, who's going to come down and because of our sins, wipe us and smite us from the face of the earth? Well, if that's how you believe, obviously you're going to be waiting with one eye open. You're going to be in your bed, tucked up in the covers, hoping that whatever comes in that door is not going to do that. But we are Christians, are we not? Which means that the God we wait for is this incredible Prince of Peace and God of love. And if you've forgotten that, read the stories again. Read how many lives he touches with his amazing love. Hear the testimonials of those of us who know Jesus Christ in our hearts, and search your own hearts for the amazing God that we are waiting for. For as Christians, if nothing else, we wait for Christ. You know, the word Advent comes from the Latin, adventus, something that's coming toward us. And I've wondered what would happen if we changed the name of this season. I'd have to check with the bishop upstairs, but what would happen if we changed the name of this season to the Latin for the word meaning waiting? Anyone knows what that word is? It's expectant. Expecto, expectas, expectat, for those of you who remember your Latin. Expectant, which is the root of our word to expect. So waiting is one thing. I know we're often sitting and we're waiting for that package to come from Amazon and we don't know when it's going to come, so we just kind of drift off and we're in the house. But if you expect that package to be there because they've said it's coming at 10 o'clock, you're going to the door and you're going to look for it. We expect Jesus to come, so we're going to the door to look for Jesus Christ. I'm expecting him to be in the problems that I find myself in, so I'm going to keep looking for him here in these problems. I'm expecting Jesus to be in my prayers, and you know, if he's not there right away, I'm just going to keep praying. Because I know he will reveal himself, because I expect that to be. And that's true of us, and it's also true of a church. This is the beginning of our church year, my friends. So what are we expecting in Christ Church Cathedral in this year? Are we expecting that we will be a church that knows itself, as St. Paul says, to be amazingly beloved and to know itself to be cared for? Are we expecting that when we go out on the streets and under the bridges and to the homeless camps along the river, that we will find Jesus there? And that we will bring Jesus with us? And that we will find him in the children that we tutor and the children who receive our angels, and in all the work that we do together? Are we expecting him there? I think we should. I think we expect him in our worship. I think I've even actually heard him already in the choir this morning. And I've seen him in my interactions with some of you already. I expect him to be here every Sunday. And in our programs, and in our Bible studies, and in our finances. You know, it's easy to say, well, we haven't quite reached our pledge goal this year, and to get worried about that. Well, let's expect that we will. And let's expect that all of us will do our part to make sure that our ministries are paid for. Let's just expect that. I expect that the coming of the Lord this year will bring better things than we can imagine, even for our world. I expect that what I see in the news about the rise of hate crimes, about gassing children on the southern borders, about the global changes, I expect all of this will be met by people like us who are filled with God's power and God's love. You know, St. Teresa of Avila said, what good is it if Mary is filled with God's grace if I'm not? And she said, what good is it if Mary was the Christ bearer? If I'm not the Christ bearer in my own time and my own country, I expect we will bear Christ in this year. How does a community, how do a people respond to the coming of the Lord when we know how much God loves us and cares for us, and we expect that it's just going to get better? Do we cower in fear? Do we say, I've never done it that way, Tom? I don't know. I don't know what to expect, Tom. Or do we raise our heads and say, look at how amazing God is? Whatever else we are as a church, we are made for these times because the symbol we have. And I came in yesterday, and boom, there was the crash. Magical crash angels had set it up while I wasn't here. And I came in and I said, oh my gosh, once again, we are presented with this symbol that there is something empty and wanting and lacking before us. There's no baby there. Every year I forget. Every year I forget that we walk into the unknown saying, well, what if the baby doesn't appear this year? What if I don't make it off this icy road? What if my fears are so big that I can't survive? What if this? What if that? But as Christians, we expect that in just a couple of weeks, He will be there, as He always has been, and as He always will be. We pray this in Christ's name.